As of late, the horror genre has seemed to receive a renaissance. Resident Evil 7 follows a new formula laid out by Silent Hill's PT, a demo for a game which sadly we will never get to play. But anyway, this mantle has well and truly been picked up by a multitude of survival horror games, hitting PlayStation, PC and Xbox over 2017. We are trying to pick a horror game to play on the channel, and I'm hoping you can help us decide. Anyway, here's our pick of 7 of the best horror games still to come in 2017. Okay, so I really made this list so I could talk about Friday the 13th. I'm sure you've heard of the horror franchise and the gruesome serial killer Jason. This concept started back in the 1980s, but is now receiving a video game that is both as scary and as vicious as the movies. There was a Commodore 64 game in the mid-80s, which was scary but for very different reasons. Friday the 13th is primarily an online game where several players will play as a set of young campers enjoying spring break. And the other player? Well, they will play as Jason, and their job is to hunt down and attempt to murder everyone who inhabits Crystal Lake. The fear when hiding from a machete-wielding man monster is enough to give me the heebie-jeebies. Originally, the game was intended to be released in 2016, but was pushed back to this year to allow for a single-player campaign. Personally, that is a delay I am more than happy with, as a single-player campaign will be a great addition to this title.
They don't belong here, Jason.
The next title, which will try to chill you to the core, is Visage, which looks like a spiritual successor to Silent Hill's PT. Slowly creeping around a house, a freaking huge house I might add, seemingly helpless. There doesn't appear to be weapons or defensive items, so those inevitable jump scares and long build-up sequences of suspense will hurt you all the more. Even the sound of your own footsteps will scare the hell out of you in this house. Elements of the Slender Man game seem to pop up, and those children's sketches unnerve the best of us. Oh, and this was a Kickstarter project, so I salute anyone who supported it. Agony is a survival horror game that takes place in hell. You probably think of Fire and Brimstone, but Agony tries to show you an alternative hell filled with tormented souls and a bout of amnesia, which usually goes quite well with horror games. You have the ability to possess lesser-minded demons, which seems to be the core difference between this game and others on the list, as you attempt to escape hell. And I'm guessing you'll probably change your mind once you finally figure out what you did to be sent there in the first place. You've probably heard of Outlast 2. It's another horror game which had a great deal of attention, only Resident Evil seemed to have more buzz at the start of 2017. The demo is available to download now and I recommend doing so, but if you don't want to do that, you can watch me and James playing it instead.
Shadow, what's that flicker? What's that? What's that flicker? What is that? Ah! Fuck!
Outlast offers no way to fight your enemies, therefore you must run around, you must be stealthy, you must keep away from everyone you find, regularly hiding under beds, in lockers, anywhere you can fit. This is coupled with a video camera which helps you see in very low light, but the batteries constantly need replacing, which prompts the player to move quickly and feeds into the fear of the unknown. The first title was definitely a masterpiece, and this second game looks to build upon that. Hello Neighbor is only available on the PC, but the developers have hinted at PS4 and Xbox One versions, a little down the line of course. In this title you play as a young boy who wants to know what his shifty neighbour is hiding in his house. Don't be fooled by the art style, this may look approachable, but this is a tense title involving stealth, planning, quick reactions, and an escape route back to your home. Trying to look around the house without your neighbour catching you can give you palpitations. Here's the kicker for this title. Each time you try to enter the house or change your method, the AI will learn and put traps there and move objects to prevent you from using the same strategy more than once. Basically, this game learns how you play and adapts accordingly. If that doesn't give you the chills, I don't know what will. Let's give the PSVR a chance to shine. The Persistence is set on board a spaceship called, yeah, you've guessed it, the Persistence, in the year 2521. While conducting a major experiment on a black hole, a horrific incident occurs, mutilating many of the crew. This one is a sci-fi survival title, but in virtual reality. If you've played Resident Evil in VR, or any horror game for that matter, you will understand the sheer horror of playing these titles with a headset on. It's also possible for other players to scare the excrement out of the survivor by using an app on your phone or tablet to interact with the ship, meaning each playthrough will be completely different if your friends are on hand. Finally, Little Nightmares is the lowest costing game on this list, retailing at around £16 in the UK and $20 in the US. It's a side-scrolling platformer, which won't scare you in the same way as the other titles on this list, but navigating through the puzzles and avoiding the freakish characters is definitely a little unnerving. The game itself even says it is sure to deliver eerie chills and goosebumps, and for that price, and for that aesthetic, I'm going to give it a try. So that's it, that's 7 horror titles for you to play this year. Which do you recommend, and what would you like to see on our channel? If you're not a subscriber, then now is a great time to do so, as you will be shaping the channel's content for the future. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade, and I can't wait to be scared to death. See you next time.